Reinforcements have arrived.
Report agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. At once. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Very well. At once. Affirmative.
Building infiltrated.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Very well. Very well. Affirmative. Agreed. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Very well.
Reinforcements have
Very well.
arrived.
Agreed.
Unit lost. Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. At once. Of course. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Ready
Unit
and waiting.
lost.
Lights out. Doggy.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Affirmative.
Waiting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Let's dance.
No problem. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Fully charged. Fully charged. Let's dance. Power on. Power on. Fully charged.
Ready and waiting. At once. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Comrade. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Waiting for
Fully charged. Doggy. Fully charged. Fully charged. Big bird. Lights out. Extra crisp. Let's start. Let's start. Power on. Fully charged. Doggy.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Don't juice.
Very well. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting.
Power on. Fully charged. Extra. Let's start. Power on. Power on.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yeah.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Unit lost.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Waiting acknowledged. Order. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. At once.
Comrades. Affirmative.
New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction
Power
complete.
on. Burn, baby, burn. Yes.
At once.
New construction options. Building.
Yes. Power on.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Construction
Power
complete.
on. Yes. Power on. Yes. Fully charged.
New construction options. Building. Building.
Need a jump?
Yes, sir.
Got juice? Let's
Unit ready.
burn, baby, burn.
Unit lost.
Need a jump? Lights out. Sharky.
Construction
Lights out.
complete. New construction
Yes, sir.
options. Building.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Yes, sir.
Building. Construction complete. Building. Unit repaired. Repairing. Insufficient funds. Construction complete. Unit repaired.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Silence needed.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready.
Extra ready. Fully charged. Power on.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Vehicle acknowledged. Waiting order.
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Very well. Once. Agreed. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Vehicle acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Reporting. Acknowledge.
Yeah, power on. Let's start.
Preparing. Silos needed. Building.
Yeah, fully charged. Power on.
Construction complete. Building. Building. Construction complete. Building. Unit prepared. Construction complete. Building.
Reporting.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Unable to comply. Building in progress. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Yes, sir.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete. Prepared.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
prepared.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Preparing. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit prepared.
Reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle affirmative. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes,
Prepare.
sir.
Awaiting orders.
Unit prepared.
Yes! Fully
Yes,
charged!
sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Comrade, affirmative.
Yes! Power on! Fully charged! Fully charged!
Comrade, acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
No juice! Fully charged!
Unit ready.
Report
Building.
acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
Reporting.
Unit ready. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Ready
Unit
and waiting.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Agreed.
Unit
Agreed.
lost.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building. Our base
Affirmative.
is under attack.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building. On hold.
Acknowledged.
Cancel.
Reporting
Unit
very well.
lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building. Building. Unit lost. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Awaiting orders.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Very well. Affirmative.
Building. Unit prepared. repaired. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit repaired. Construction complete. Cannot deploy here.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
repaired.
Ready and waiting.
Building repaired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting.
Unit ready. Building.
Comrade,
Unit repaired.
acknowledged.
Repairing. Building. Unit repaired. Construction complete. Repairing. Unit
Awaiting
ready.
orders.
Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir.
Unit repaired.
Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Our base is under attack. Building. Building.
Got juice?
Unit
Power
ready.
on.
Construction complete. Building. On hold. Cancel. Building. Unit lost. Building. Construction complete.
Waiting order.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Report. Acknowledged.
Waiting order.
Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Construction options. Building.
Got juice? Yeah. Fully charged. Did a jump? Fully charged. Yeah. Let's start.
Construction complete. Construction options. Low power. Building. Building.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Vehicle affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Building.
Yeah. Let's start.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Insufficient funds. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Building.
Comrade. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Structure sold. Building. Unit ready.
Got juice? Power on.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Reporting.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Report.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Our base is under
Acknowledged.
attack.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Comrade. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit repaired.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Prepared.
Reporting.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit prepared.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Reporting.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting order. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Acknowledge.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission accomplished.